Hello, everyone. Welcome to Love Chat with the Love Twins. I'm Gladys Diaz, and tonight we are talking about something that we hear from women all the time. So, first of all, before we get started, if you're here with me and you are, excuse me, and I'm not speaking into the void of night, just go ahead and put hi or I'm here, I'm ready, so that I know that I am not here alone. It always makes a difference when I see your comments, your questions. I try to answer questions during the live stream. So if you're on Facebook, I can see them. If you're in another platform, I'm not 100% sure that I can see them. But hi, Christina. Great to see you here. Thank you for sending that. It makes me know that I am not here alone. And thanks to everyone else who's dropping their hellos. All right. So as I was saying, I do answer questions throughout the live stream, and then if you're watching this on replay, you can go ahead and put replay and then ask your questions because I come back and I answer them later. Hello, Edith and Valley and Teresa. Thank you all for being here, Sophia. It's really great. All right, let me jump into this because, like I said, this is a topic that we hear from women all the time. For those of you who are new to our channel, if you're watching on YouTube, or to our community and on other platforms, what you may not know is that we are transformational. Michelle and I are transformational dating and relationship coaches for highly driven, high achieving women who also want to have deeply loving, committed, lifelong relationships. So you'll hear me speaking language that relates to the highly driven woman. But if you're retired and you used to be a highly driven woman, know that that's still in your DNA. There's just a way that we think and a way that we present ourselves in, and sometimes a way that we subconsciously sabotage ourselves, which is why this is so important, right? Because you can't see your own blind spots, and there's nothing better than having someone walk you through something you didn't even know you were doing and know that there's actually a solution. There's a way out of that. Oh, I just realized I do not have lipstick on. So you know what I'm going to do? This is just me. I'm just going to put a little bit of lipstick, put a lip gloss on. So I feel like me. There we go. Feel a little bit better. It's not quite as bright as I like to do it, but it's there. All right. So here's what we know about the highly driven woman. And here's what we hear a lot from the women who come into our hemisphere, who are part of our programs, who come to our events, who work with us privately or in our group programs. Usually the woman that we're speaking to is a woman who built something real in her life. She had goals, has goals, dreams, professionally, personally, puts them in front of her, gets the support that she needs or the knowledge that she needs, and then executes the plan, right? Puts it into action and gets her results. That happens on repeat. When somebody is a high achieving woman, that's usually the trajectory. Not that we don't have dips, that we don't go through times where we're like, what the heck, what happened? But it's typically what happens. And so the woman that we tend to work with has a career, a business, a life she's proud of, has some leisure time on her hands, and she's very proud of the work that she's done, even though she doesn't always give herself the amount of credit that she could, right? But she makes hard decisions every single day. She trusts her gut. She moves the needle forward. But when it comes to love, the moment that love and relationships come into the picture, I always forget to center myself, she finds herself doing things that she would never, ever do anywhere else in her life. What am I talking about? She starts to question and doubt herself. She starts replaying conversations to see, well, what did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? You know, what could I have done or said differently? And it's not that we don't want to be self-aware. Self-awareness is a beautiful quality to have. The thing is, there's a difference between self-reflection and second guessing yourself. There's a lack of trust with second guessing. What other things does she do? She'll go to 10 friends, usually the ones that will agree with her. Do I know you or do I know you, right? And starts asking them what they think. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And a lot of times I say, going to the ones that you will either agree with you or that you kind of already know what they're going to say. There's going to be some level of either affirmation or validation. And and your friends love you and your family loves you, and they're never going to coach you the way a coach would, because they're wanting you to feel good with the answer. And it's not like that coaches don't want you to feel good. We want you to break through. And a lot of times that means helping you to see the thing that you could not see on your own. So that's part of what the second guessing does. Another thing is waiting for a sign. She never would do this in her career or in a goal or a project that's really important, but she's waiting for a sign before she makes a move. Do you see how there's a lack of self-trust? Like, I have to have something outside of me verify that this is what I should be doing. She asks AI, what should I say? What should I do? A lot of people are outsourcing their thinking and their intuition to AI, which, by the way, I promise you, because I mentioned this in my last couple of love chats, I am going to do a love chat. Probably it's going to be a masterclass on the way that AI is actually ruining love lives, ruining relationships, including the relationships people have with themselves. It's not that I don't use it for work. It was never intended to be a replacement for human connection. And it's absolutely not ever meant to be a replacement for your own intuition. But when you stop trusting your gut, and it happens in love, and we're going to talk about why tonight, then you start looking for things, signs, people, and answers outside of yourself. Now, that's different than going to a coach to say, okay, here's what, because if a coach is telling you what to do, you need to find another coach. A coach is always going to help you discover the answer within yourself. It's not that Michelle and I don't give guidelines, but whenever one of our clients says, what do you think I should do? Our question to them is, well, first tell me what you're thinking. Or based on the coaching that I've given you before, what is your gut telling you? Or what's the intention in even asking me that question, right? So when you find yourself going outside of you for all of your answers, what's actually happening when a woman is doing this is that she's talking herself out of what she already knows or what she actually wants. And then we hear the question, Michelle and I get this question, which is, why is it so easy for me to trust myself everywhere else, in my career, in my personal goals, in the projects that I'm working on, in the things that I stand for? And it feels so hard to trust myself here when it comes to love. So that's what tonight's about. And if that question hit you somewhere, like if it resonated somewhere inside of you, stay with me, because I'm going to get into exactly what's driving that and what you can do about it so that you can start to create a breakthrough. So the awareness isn't the breakthrough, but there's work that can get you to have the breakthrough. So drop a yes in the chat if you've ever felt completely confident in your work life, but found yourself second guessing yourself, questioning yourself when it came to love. Just go ahead and put a yes in the chat. So I know, again, that you're with me and that you're not just passively listening. You don't want to be a passive participant here. You want to be an active participant in your life, an active participant in your love life. So I'll wait I know there's a little bit of a delay. Here they come. Okay, I see the yeses. Hi, Joyce. Nice to see you here. Hi, Ivy. Great to see you. All right, so here's what I want to acknowledge before we go anywhere else. The reason love feels different is not because you're weak there, or because you're not good at love, or because you're cursed. I have to say those things, right? Because these are the things that people say to Michelle and me. It's none of those things. It's simply because love is personal in a way that nothing else is. It's more intimate than your work. It's more intimate than your projects. And so it feels riskier when it comes to love. So when you make a decision at work and it doesn't go the way that you hoped or that you imagined, you pivot, you adjust, right? You try something different. You learn, you move forward, and you don't take it personally at the level of your identity. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that you don't take responsibility for what you did or what you didn't do or what you could have done differently, but you don't make it part of your identity. But in love, if you trust someone, and it doesn't work out, you gave your heart to someone and they ended up betraying you, or it just wasn't the right person for you, it can feel like you did something wrong. Like there's something wrong with you. And many women create this identity. I'm not good at love. I'm not good when it comes to love. Right. And they start to relate to themselves, and whether they're saying it out of their mouth or not, if it's a conversation that is happening in your head, it is a conversation that is creating the way for you to have more and more evidence. You're actually creating a wave of attracting more and more evidence for I am not good when it comes to love, or I wasn't meant for love. Love wasn't meant for me. Love isn't in the cards for me. God doesn't want this for me. If he wanted it for me, he would have already brought the person. Any version of that resonating, right? Right? Put an R in the chat for it's resonating, because these are the things that we tell ourselves when we have doubt inside of ourselves. Okay. And you start to feel like your judgment failed you, like your judgment, your intuition, your inner knowingness that feels so strong in other areas failed you when it comes to love, or like you just can't trust yourself. Well, I was trusting myself when I trusted that person, when I gave them my heart, when I married them, when I spent 2 years of my life with them, or 2 months of my life really loving them, and then it wasn't the one. So you start to question yourself, right? So what do you do? What do you do when the disappointment hits? What do you do when something didn't go the way that you wanted it to go? What typically happens, right, is you start looking for certainty, feeling certain before you make a move. So you start waiting again for an answer from outside of yourself, or even a feeling of certainty before you make a move. You're afraid to take a risk again, right? You start gathering more information in the form of books and videos and reels, right? If I can't tell you how many women send Michelle and I reels of, I actually got, somebody sent me yesterday, I think it was yesterday, 3 or 4 screenshots of something that somebody else, some expert was saying that so viscerally goes against what I believe about men and women and what's possible for love. That I was like, why would this person send this to me knowing that this isn't even aligned? But because she's looking for evidence. She's looking for evidence for the fact that women are I don't even want to say this because I may vomit a little bit in my mouth, but that men are giving up. Women are giving up on men because men are this and men are that and I'm like, yes, if you're getting results that you don't like when it comes to love and dating and relationships, you're going to look for evidence to support that you're not alone. I literally today, without going any further, saw a reel by a woman of God. I'm a woman of faith, and she's an elder, very highly respected in Christianity. And she's talking about how biblically, okay, I need to calm down. No, you know what? I don't care. How biblically, not every woman is meant to be married, because statistically, and she was a woman of color, men of color are in jail. And so there's less men and there's more women. And I'm like, what are you fighting for? Sure enough, she is single. Am I saying that as a judgment? No. What is she looking for? Evidence. And she's misquoting the context of the Bible to support a belief, a fear that she has. And I was like, I couldn't stay quiet. Sometimes when I don't resonate with stuff, I'm just like, scroll, like I don't give my energy. I couldn't, because now you're misquoting the Bible, taking a verse out of context to support your own limiting belief, and women are believing it. There were women in the chat. Yes, finally somebody said it. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Okay, so I just gave you my Tuesday sermon. I got to get back on track. Okay, but you can see how passionate I am about that, right? Because it is not the truth. And people out there in the books and the videos and the reels and the TikTok and this and that and the other are confusing the heck out of women and men and making it seem like the struggle is necessary, that it's just part of the deal. And it's not. Love doesn't have to be hard. Dating doesn't have to be hard. You just need to have somebody whispering, and in this case, maybe yelling in your ear that that is not the freaking truth. There is another possible truth for you. Okay. So stop gathering information. And this is the thing that I was talking about AI. AI, if you've noticed, always affirms what you tell it. Oh, that's true. You're right. Guess what it's affirming? Your limiting beliefs. Your limiting beliefs. But it comes across so certain because you're so uncertain. You drink it up like Kool-Aid and you believe it. I'm not going to get on that tangent. I'm not going to get on that sermon. But this is the stuff that it really breaks my heart when I see how pervasive these things are. So then you start asking people, and you normally, a lot of times you're asking the people in your life, ask the people in your life who are happily married. Have a happily married mentor. That's different than getting pieces of advice from people who are unhappy or don't truly believe in what's possible or don't know how to teach you how to create the kind of love and relationship that you want. And then you keep waiting and waiting until you're sure. And now the pages, right? The months on the calendar are going by, years are going by. And you can it looks on the surface like it's wisdom, but what you're getting is validation, affirmation for your fears. And then internally something else is happening. You completely stop trusting yourself. And that shift, that small internal move away from your knowingness, your inner knowingness, is where everything gets complicated. So here's the main piece that I want to give you tonight, okay? Because this is where things start to shift. I don't ever want to leave you in the shift without the F, right? I never want to leave you there, right? Self-trust in love doesn't disappear. If you have self-trust, it doesn't disappear because you're in love or it's related to love. It disappears because somewhere along the way, you started to believe that there was something wrong with them, with you, with love, with relationships, that being wrong about love, maybe having chosen the wrong person at some point, was a different kind of wrong than being wrong about something else. You grant yourself grace in other areas, but not here, or you pivot in other areas, but not here. Maybe it's that when you trusted yourself in your career and it didn't work out, you called it a learning curve. But when you trusted yourself in love and it didn't work out, you called it a mistake you were not allowed to make again. And in order to avoid making the mistake, then you just stop. And I'm speaking to you with love, even if you're going through the motions, if every single person that you connect with online, every single person that you meet in person, every single interaction that has something to do with love is not going the way that you want, there is something fully playing out in the background. And it is in the form of lack of trust. And when we talk about lack of trust, that means how can you trust? If you can't trust yourself, how can you trust another human being? How can you trust that it's going to work out? So what happens is the protection started, right? Maybe you stop letting yourself want what you relate to as too much. I'm just being too picky. I just want too much. I'm being unrealistic about what I want in love. Maybe you started over analyzing every single interaction, because if you're always thinking, then you can't really feel. And I'm telling you right now, you cannot think or logic yourself into a deeply loving, committed relationship, because if you can't really feel, then you can't give love, you can't receive it. Yes, you can't get hurt, so you're protecting yourself, but you're not engaging with the person at the level that's necessary to create trust and intimacy and connection. Or maybe you started asking other people what they thought, like I said before, because if the relationship didn't work out, then at least the decision wasn't entirely yours. It was the book. It was my friend. It was my aunt. It was my mom, right? It was that TikTok video or that reel that I saw on Instagram. But here's what I want you to hear. It's not that you're not smart. It's that you're protecting yourself. And that protection, it also costs you something. Because that same instinct that made you really effective in the other area of your life your ability to assess, to decide, to take a risk, to make a move, that's available to you in love also. It is. You just haven't been allowing yourself to tap into it and use that self-trust. Instead, you've been managing your way through love rather than trusting your way through it. Okay? So I want you to think about the last time that you made a major decision in your business or your career or your life, like a major life decision. And I just want you to think about how did you make it? You gathered information, yes. But at some point, you stopped gathering and you moved. You trusted that you had enough information and that if something came up you didn't anticipate, you could handle it. You'd figure it out. That's not certainty. That's self-trust. And that's exactly what love requires. It requires you to trust yourself, not the certainty that it will work out perfectly. That's not what I'm talking about. Just the trust that you can handle what happens next and the willingness to actually go toward what you really want. So it's really important. Come back to this video, right? Come back and watch this part and actually do this exercise where you ask yourself, like, what were the steps that I took, the information I gathered, and then at what point did I make a move? And if things didn't go perfectly, what did I do to course correct and not allow myself to feel like a quote unquote failure because I made a mistake? So I really do, I do request that you come back. Like, just note the time. It was around about 20 minutes into the love chat, a little bit before that. Okay, just to make a note right now. If you know somebody who would benefit from this conversation, a girlfriend who popped into your mind, oh my God, I was just talking to so-and-so about this, a family member, just go ahead and hit the share button on whatever platform you're on, because more women need to hear this. They really, really do. Okay. So why does the self-trust in love matter? Because here's what I've seen with women who rebuild self-trust in love. And I'm not talking about, when I'm saying this, I'm not talking about becoming or seeming more confident on the surface. It's not a surfacey kind of self-trust. I'm talking about something that actually shifts. It shifts how you show up. It shifts how you date. It shifts how you communicate. And it shifts who and how you choose to be your partner. Because when you trust yourself in love, you stop over-explaining yourself to men who aren't listening. Sharing more than you need to share with men who haven't earned that right yet. Not that we're entitled and that we're better than men, but I'm going to be selective about who I'm sharing my heart with and who I'm sharing my past with and who I'm sharing, like, the things that I get to share with the people that I've gotten to know well enough to trust. Okay? You stop confusing intensity, chemistry, physical attraction for real connection, because now you know the difference. And you start making decisions from a place of clarity instead of a place of fear. Fearful that it's not going to work out, fearful that you're going to be disappointed. No, you start making it from a place of clarity. And you stop asking everybody else in the world what they think, and you start consulting with the one person whose judgment you get to trust the most, yourself. And when you're operating that way, the relationship that shows up, the men that show up, the experiences that show up, they are different because you're acting differently. Your level of trust is real, and so you start attracting real. You're not available for the same things that you used to settle for. You're just not. And it's not because you're harder or you've closed yourself off or you're more skeptical. It's because you know what you want and you've stopped apologizing for wanting it or questioning whether you should want it. And here's one more thing I want to say. This isn't about becoming someone different. It's about becoming more of who you already are and bringing that same strong, clear, decisive woman into your love life. Now, I know that sometimes, like right now, you might be, but how do I do that? How do I do it? If I knew how to do it, I would do it. Well, I want to talk to you about how you do that, right? Because if tonight's conversation resonated with you on every level or on any level, right? I don't want this to be another great video that you watch and you feel good about it when it ends and then you go back to the same old patterns. I want this to be a turning point for you. So here's what I want to offer you. If you're ready to stop second guessing yourself in love, if you are ready to bring a new level of confidence and trust, that same level that you have in your career or in other areas of your life, and you want to bring that into the area of love and relationships, the kind of relationship you actually want, not the one that you're afraid you have to settle for, then I have two ways for you to go deeper with us. So the first one is, if you've never had a love breakthrough call with us, that means you've never had an opportunity to speak with one of our love breakthrough coaches, then we want you to go ahead and schedule a time to do that. And again, I'm being very clear. You have never had a conversation with one of our coaches, because some of you still keep clicking on the link, and that's a lack of integrity. And then you wonder why men with no integrity show up, right? There's other ways for you to reach out to us. You can say here, hey, I've had a call with a coach and I feel like I'm ready to move forward. I need something gets to shift. You can put that in the comments and we'll make sure that we get in touch with you. Okay. But if you've never had a love breakthrough call, then you want to go ahead and click on the link that's being dropped right now. And that's a one-on-one conversation with someone on our team to really get clear on exactly what is it that's getting in your way. Maybe you're like, I do feel the lack of self-trust, but I don't know how to, first of all, I don't know what's causing it. And second of all, what would I do? What are the steps that I should take? Right. So that conversation can be life-changing. It has been for many women, because then you get, not only do you figure out what's in the way, we give you the steps for how to get it out of the way so that you can have more clarity and that you can know, okay, what are my next steps? And there's no pressure on this call. There's just the promise of more clarity. And here are the steps that you can take. Okay, so the link is in the chat. Now, if you're the kind of woman who's like, I'm done being passive in my love life, I am done complete with that, and I'm ready to have a real shift take place, and I want to learn what are the steps that I get to take so that I can be and become that woman now and have the relationship that I want, not in a year, not in 2 years, but have it this year, then this August, we're gathering a small group. It is a small group. We only have 6 seats left. That's how small it is, okay? In Fort Lauderdale for our Unleash retreat. What do we mean by unleash? It means that you're going to break free from whatever it is that's been causing you to second guess yourself, to not know what your clear steps are, to wonder what your next step should be, to stop making yourself feel like you are a failure when it comes to love, when that is not the truth. You just haven't known what to do differently. Then you want to come and spend 3 days completely removing whatever. And I'm talking specifically to the woman who has done the inner work. You haven't been afraid to do the inner work. Maybe you've done some retreats, taken some courses, and you're like, there's still something in the way. And how do you know there's still something in the way? Because you still don't have the result that you ultimately want, right? So I'm talking specifically to that woman, not to the one who's wondering if this is for her, if she could ever have love. It's the woman who's like, I have been willing to do the inner work, and I am now willing to remove whatever that last layer is so that I can finally be in the relationship that I want to be in this year and become and be the woman that I know inside that I am, that I feel her come out in other areas of my life, but I want to feel that confident, that secure in myself. I want to trust myself in love. Then you want to join us at the Unleash retreat, because we're going to do 3 immersive days of completely ripping away all those blocks and all those fears and all those barriers that have been there after you've done all of this work, so that you can finally be free. You can be free of it, and you're going to feel equipped, you're going to feel enabled, you're going to feel empowered to take the steps that you have been too afraid to trust yourself to take until now. All right. So it's an immersive, intimate experience. You're going to do the real work with us in person, face to face, arm in arm, hand in hand. We're going to do the work together so that you're not left questioning yourself. Michelle and I will help you to course correct right there in the moment. And you're going to walk away with a clear and specific plan for creating the love that you want without settling, without shrinking, without second guessing, and without wasting any more of your time. Because your time is valuable and so is your heart. And you deserve to have the love that you want. You deserve to have it now. Okay. So the link for the Unleashed Retreat is in the comments section in the chat, depending on which platform you're on. I actually don't see it yet, but I'm sure Ali's going to drop it. There it goes. Right. So you've got two options. Look to see which one feels right for you. If you've never had a conversation with someone on our team, or you're just getting to know us, welcome, by the way, then maybe you want to start with the love breakthrough call. But if you know, and you know that there's only 6, we more than 50% filled the event in a week. That's what you need to know. That's how fast the seats are going. And if we feel like it's not the right step for you, we're going to tell you. But if, like I said, if you're somebody who's done the work and you're at the point in your life where you're like, it's time to move this needle, not a centimeter, not a millimeter, but to literally be on the path to getting whatever it is. I haven't been able to see it. I've done the work, but I haven't gotten to that layer. And now I'm ready. Join us at the Unleashed Retreat. We don't do in-person retreats very often. We haven't done this retreat for 8 years. So I'm not being mysterious or dramatic. Like, we haven't done this retreat in person in 8 years. And we haven't done it even virtually in over 2 years. So if you're ready and you feel that knowingness, trust yourself in this moment, click on the link and reserve your spot, because it is going to be unlike anything that we've ever done. And Michelle and I want to see you in the room. All right. So don't wait on either one. The women who get results are the ones who stop waiting for the perfect moment or waiting to feel the certainty. Right. And you decide this is the moment. This is my moment. All right. So go ahead and click on either one of those 2 links. And here's what I want to say before I say goodbye. The love that you want is possible. And it is not just possible for her and the other one. It is possible for you. There is nothing that is standing between you and having the love that you want, except for whatever you haven't uncovered yet. We are here. We're committed to helping you uncover it so that you can remove it and start moving in the direction of having the life and the love that your heart desires, so that you get to really experience the life that you were created, you were born to have. And it's an honor for us to be able to guide you on that part of your journey. So go ahead, make your choice. Thank you for being here tonight. Seriously, I don't take it lightly and I don't take it for granted. You could have been anywhere else. You chose to invest this time in yourself and in getting closer to the love that you want. And to me, that's not a small deal. That's a big deal. All right. Like I said before, share this with a woman in your life who you know could benefit from it. Maybe she's the one that you talk to about love and relationships and maybe commiserate about what's not working. Let's now partner to help both of you move forward. All right. And don't forget to add the love chat to your calendar every Tuesday at 6:00 p.m. Either myself or Michelle will be here every Tuesday. And until our hearts meet again, always remember that you are loved. Goodbye for now.